LEGO Powerpuff Girls was one of the most short-lived LEGO themes of all time, which has ultimately led to it becoming one of the most forgotten themes as well. So in this video, I'm going to be taking a look at this theme and all it had to offer, from the video games, the physical sets themselves, and if the theme will ever come back, especially with that trailer leaking, for the less than amazing looking live action TV series, and discussing why this theme actually failed, because for the most part it was pretty great. So what's up LEGO fans, it's LEGO Man Cam, and LEGO Powerpuff Girls first came along as a part of LEGO Dimensions, debuting in Wave 9, the final wave for the game, in September of 2017. If you don't know what LEGO Dimensions was, it was a Toys to Life video game first released in 2015, ending by the end of 2017, so the amount of people that were actually still playing at the time of when these Powerpuff Girls packs would have released would have been relatively low. The game featured a number of franchises from DC to Lord of the Rings and Ghostbusters, but some of the most exciting themes in Year 2 were from Cartoon Network properties, being Adventure Time, Teen Titans Go, and then of course the Powerpuff Girls, with all of these sets being based on the reboot of the original cartoon, which was airing at the same time. While that reboot cartoon was not met with much praise and most people strongly disliked it, thankfully the actual designs of the characters didn't change that much, so the Dimensions packs that we got were still very reminiscent and could easily be substituted for the original show. In terms of those Dimensions packs, we got two packs, one being a fun pack and one being a team pack. The fun pack came with Buttercup, featuring a brand new head mold and a very simple yet perfect looking torso and leg detailing. She included a build of a Mega Blast Bot 2, which you could ride in the game and change into two different models with power-ups. The team pack that we got then of course contained Bubbles and Blossom, once again debuting new head and hair molds, which are just really deluxe and beautiful looking. They featured similar torso prints again, and all used the same legs. The builds we got here were a Powerpuff Girls smartphone and Octi as well. The smartphone always felt a bit odd to me because it was absolutely massive for a phone, but Octi was definitely a cool build as well. In the actual game, the Powerpuff Girls were all super useful characters, especially I can remember with their lantern ability, which allowed you to access those red lantern puzzles that were previously only accessible by Supergirl, who was in the PS4 starter pack and an exclusive character, so the Powerpuff Girls definitely came in handy. I personally always think I had Bubbles on my toy pad, as having a flying character in any LEGO game is just a massive bonus. Buying either of these two packs also gave you access to the Powerpuff Girls Adventure World, which gave you access to the main city of Townsville, but also some other sub-areas like Monster Mountain and Puppy Island as well, and the entire world was in the cartoony art style, which I always really liked. Both of these packs retired about 7 months afterwards, and to be honest, they aren't very valuable today. So after all of this, LEGO Dimensions was sadly, very sadly cancelled, and there were no future set waves or Powerpuff Girls packs, which led to these packs going on deep discount, and I can even remember the Buttercup pack being found easily in dollar stores. However, thankfully, that wasn't the end of this theme, as we actually ended up getting a set wave in August of 2018, just under a year since the original Dimensions packs released. The first of these sets was Bubbles Playground Showdown, which included 144 pieces and retailed for $20. The set gave you a number of school playground accessories, such as a slide and a turnstile, as well as some school lockers and a boombox. The Bubbles that was included here was exactly the same as the one from the Dimensions pack, which is totally fine because the Dimensions one was pretty much perfect. However, I think she definitely could have used a new face print or something. The more exciting minifigure here though is definitely Princess Morbucks, who featured another brand new molded head with bright red hair and also a brand new torso print with a lavender skirt piece too. This is the only way to get that figure, however she and Bubbles are only worth about $8 today, with this set now only going for about $30, so not much higher than its original retail some 7 years ago. Also just quickly, if you are new to the channel and do go on to enjoy the video, please consider subscribing to help us reach 30,000, we are super close and it helps me make so much better videos. The other set that we got for this wave was the last of the Powerpuff Girls sets, and it was Mojo Jojo Strikes. and this included 228 pieces, 3 minifigures, and retailed for $30. The set gave you a small red car, a build for Donnie the Unicorn, as well as an ice cream and jewel shop, which the set's namesake, Mojo Jojo, would be stealing from. Buttercup and Blossom are both included here, remaining completely unchanged from their Dimensions designs again, which is fine, but they definitely could have used new face prints. And then the most exciting part of this set is the main villain of the Powerpuff Girls, Mojo Jojo himself. This figure is honestly really cool and probably one of the best from this entire theme. He has a brand new molded head, which you build his brain helmet thing onto, which is made using a white dome piece with a brain print on it. His torso printing is also new, and he even has an exclusive double-sided cape with one side being purple and one side being magenta, showing that LEGO actually really went all out with this minifigure. Because of Mojo Jojo alone, this set has shot up in value, going from an original price of $30 to now being worth over $60, with Mojo Jojo being worth around $30 alone, seriously carrying the price of this set, which makes sense because he is a really great minifigure. So with that, those were the two and only two Powerpuff Girls sets that we ever got. To my understanding, these must have sold pretty poorly, obviously incentivizing LEGO to stop making them. However, to my memory, I do not remember seeing these at regular retail stores. I'm not sure if that was just in Australia, however, I only remember seeing these on lego.com, and they retired by the end of 2019, which only gave them just about a year and a half of shelf life. Let me know in the comments though whether you remember seeing these in stores though, because yeah, I can't remember. I think both sets covered a decent amount from this universe, considering they were both only $50 combined, although I do wish we got some more characters to flesh out the theme. Most notably for me would be Bliss, who you may not know is the fourth Powerpuff Girl that was created in the 2016 reboot show. While this character was obviously just a massive ploy to boost ratings for the failing show, her character design is pretty flawless, and I think she would have worked out perfectly as another minifigure to get. Anyway, so let's get into why this theme actually failed and what went wrong. Firstly, I barely think anyone actually knew about these sets to begin with. I recently posted on my YouTube channel an image of Mojo Jojo to tease that this video is coming out, and a lot of people in the comments are completely unaware that LEGO ever made Powerpuff Girls sets and didn't even know that that Mojo Jojo figure existed. I barely remember seeing these advertised at all, and with only a 2-set wave, it seemed as though LEGO was just trying to get these sets out and then completely forget about them. As these were based on the 2016 Series 2, a lot of people were probably turned off by that, considering they either disliked the show or just weren't watching it, as it was not very popular amongst audiences at the time. People were calling it a disgrace to the original, stating that it kept none of the original spirit of the show, and hired all new voice actors without even asking the previous ones, who were genuinely pretty upset by this and would have loved to come back and voice their characters again. While I still think the LEGO sets, while small, were actually pretty great, I can understand this. It's kind of similar to saying people won't buy sequel trilogy LEGO Star Wars sets, even though a lot of them can actually be really cool. I think these sets would have worked better if they weren't tied to the new reboot of the show, even though they did work pretty well as figures of the originals too. However, I also don't think Powerpuff Girls was that popular of a franchise in the first place, which is why it's really surprising to me for LEGO to actually make sets on this theme. With LEGO Dimensions, LEGO made a ton of packs for new themes and franchises like Goonies, Mission Impossible, and the A-Team. However, they almost never went and made actual sets for these themes afterwards. Themes such as Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, and Adventure Time all had a set or two made for them beforehand. So it was really surprising why LEGO decided to make 2 sets based on this theme in particular that only appeared right at the end of LEGO Dimensions' lifespan, where there wasn't a lot of hype left for the game. It seems as though Teen Titans Go would have been the more sellable theme to make sets on, since that show is still going to this day with Season 9 after first airing in 2013, which is pretty crazy to think about. It also comes to my attention that for just regular LEGO fans who maybe wanted minifigures of the 3 Powerpuff Girls, at the time, you could easily buy the Dimensions packs for dirt cheap, literally almost $1 in some cases, so it makes sense why no one would buy these physical sets, considering they were all the exact same minifigures. Now earlier on, I stated to whether this theme will ever come back, and I also discussed how Powerpuff Girls isn't necessarily the most popular franchise ever. Well, just a week ago, we got some bizarre news for this franchise which I really want to discuss. If you don't know, about 3 or 4 years ago, it was announced that there would be a live-action Powerpuff Girls show debuting on the CW network, and that it had head into early production. We even had some behind-the-scenes production shots, with Chloe Bennet notably playing Blossom, who you may know from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Anyway, this show was set to take a more realistic approach to the Powerpuff Girls and actually depict them as adults. A script for the show leaked super early on, and it was bad, like really bad. It took a lot of people's childhood characters and made them into completely new characters, doing adult things that just went completely against the vibe of the original show. To me, it's very reminiscent of that horrible Velma show that got made a while back, but somehow it seemed even worse. Well, the show got completely cancelled and Chloe Bennet was one of the first actors to step away from the project, which eventually just kind of disappeared from the conversation. This was until, as I said, about a week ago, when somehow the original trailer leaked for the show, presumably shot with pilot footage, or it could have been more honestly. The trailer was leaked in an episode on the YouTube channel Lost Media Busters, who have previously made a video on LEGO Dimensions, which you may have seen, which discussed a whole bunch of new information we'd never seen before. Anyway, the video was unfortunately taken down, so to avoid any infringement, I won't show any of the trailer, but trust me, it looked really, really bad. The reason that I bring this up in relation to LEGO, which I usually talk about, is firstly because it's hilarious how bad and just crazy to me that somehow 4 years later we still have images and footage from this show coming out. But more so, I think it just goes to show that this franchise is in shambles right now, with no clear direction that they're going in. Of course, not everything has to be some multi-generational spanning franchise, but the Powerpuff Girls are pretty well known in pop culture, so I don't think they'll ever completely disappear. I highly doubt we'll ever see them in LEGO again because of this. However, since the discussion has completely blown up about this cancelled show, I can see a world where a new reboot of the show is created, considering just how passionate of a fan base the Powerpuff Girls seems to have. And if this does return, and I mean it would have to do really, really well, we could maybe see LEGO sets for this theme return. Do I think this is likely? No, I don't. Like 0.02% likely, but never say never. So for now, cherish those Dimensions packs and figures if you have them, and if you happen to have the 2 sets that we got, they're honestly pretty great, even if they're quite tiny. Let me know in the comments though what your thoughts on this theme are, and if you own any of these sets, and please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.